German public broadcaster ZDF has removed part of a report that claimed tech trillionaire Elon Musk had called for migrants to be hunted in Northern Ireland. ZDF conceded its wording was misleading, while Musk said legal action is being taken against ZDF for their outrageous lies.
Activewear brand Lululemon is in hot water in China after a promotional event held on the Great Wall appeared to mistakenly feature a Japanese drum, setting off an online furore. The consumer backlash, which prompted Lululemon to issue an apology and scrub its campaign, is the latest example of how quickly Western brands can come unstuck in a country where nationalism has surged under strongman leader Xi Jinping.
A group of indigenous Taiwanese seafarers have completed a daring quest, braving choppy waters and using the stars for navigation as they paddled a traditional wooden canoe to the Philippines in a journey that highlights the astonishing feat of human migration across the Pacific. Taiwan's indigenous people, who nowadays make up just a tiny proportion of the island's population, are believed to be the ancestors of many of the groups who came to inhabit lands stretching from Hawaii and Easter Island in the eastern Pacific to Madagascar off the coast of East Africa. The world is losing an estimated 324 trillion litres, 85.6 trillion gallons of freshwater each year, enough to meet the needs of 280 million people annually, according to a 2025 World Bank report. This persistent loss of fresh water, known as continental drying, is driven by worsening droughts and unsustainable land and water practices. The 2026 World Cup will have 13 different kick-off times. To find out exactly when your team is playing in your local time, who England versus Croatia? What? FIFA World Cup 2026 Group L, match where AT&T Stadium, Dallas, Texas, when Wednesday, 3 p.m. local time, 20 GMT, how to follow. We'll have all the build-up on Al Jazeera Sport from 17 GMT in advance of our live text commentary stream. The National Emergencies Operations Centre, NEOC, of the National Disaster Management Authority, NDMA, has issued an alert warning of rain, thunderstorms, strong winds and possible hailstorms in several parts of Pakistan from June 16 to 20. According to the alert, a westerly weather system is expected to affect the country's upper and northern regions during the period. Rain and thunderstorms are forecast for parts of Punjab, including Islamabad, Rawalpindi, Murree, Attock, Chakwal, Mandi Bahauddin, Gujarat, Jhelum, Sialkot, Gujranwala, Faisalabad, Sargodha, Jang, Dera Ghazi Khan, Bahawalpur and Rohingya Khan.
Esha named her scooty Riri. After herself, it cost 420,000 and she hasn't spent a rupee more since on transport. Every time the scooty hums to life, when the 22-year-old leaves for classes at the College of Electrical and Mechanical Engineering, heads turn. My friends think it's cool, she says. Young women light up in public. They say it looks easy to handle. Their reaction means everything to her.
Austria celebrated their long-awaited return to the World Cup with a 3-1 win over determined debutant Jordan on Tuesday, with substitute Marko Arnautovic the difference in a gritty end-to-end Group J match. On a brisk night in the San Francisco Bay Area, Austria went ahead with a 21st minute thunderbolt from Romano Schmid before Jordan fought back after the break through Ali Olwan's exquisite strike in off the post. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar said on Wednesday that Pakistan was pleased to facilitate the repatriation of 30 Iranian nationals. In a post on the social media platform X, he said that this number included 8 Iranian fishermen rescued at sea by the British vessel MMA Valour after their boat ran aground, and 22 Iranian crew members from the vessel Lenore Davina, recently interdicted by US authorities.
Sabina Farouk wants to see an end to the senseless killing of stray animals, and apparently that has led her to receive hate on the internet. In an Instagram story posted on Tuesday, the actor asked why people began to call for dog culling whenever they heard of a dog with rabies. Emerging markets suffer from inadequate representation at the United Nations. UN, its authority increasingly challenged by escalating political and economic disputes worldwide. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said on Wednesday the comments came in a rare press briefing in Beijing for the issue of a white paper outlining ways to make global governance more outline ways to global governance more just and equitable.
Elon Musk's artificial intelligence tool Grok was used in strikes against Iran, the United States government revealed in a legal briefing seen Tuesday by AFP. The June 15 brief defends the gas turbines used by a giant data center belonging to the trillionaire's company xAI, which are the target of an environmental lawsuit.
Far from the gilded halls of Westminster, an unassuming community centre, squat, utilitarian, and with a parking lot whose potholes overflow with water whenever it rains, has become the centre of power in British politics. Here, in rooms more accustomed to hosting bingo nights, dance classes, sports watch parties and weddings, Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham's campaign team is plotting his return to Parliament. If he succeeds, it is likely he will challenge Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer for leadership of the centre-left governing Labour Party, and so the premiership. Lionel Messi marked his record 6th World Cup appearance with his first hat-trick at a FIFA tournament, also becoming the joint highest scorer at a World Cup, as Argentina beat Algeria 3 to open the defence of their global crown. The former 38-year-old forward thought he had opened the scoring in the 8th minute Kansas City's on Tuesday. He slotted home from close range, but the offside flag was raised.
The United States government has intervened on the side of Elon Musk's xAI in a legal dispute over a $20 BN data center, claiming that efforts to block a related power project threaten national security. In a court motion filed this week, the Department of Justice requested the dismissal of a lawsuit accusing xAI of illegally operating dozens of natural gas turbines erected to power the Colossus II data center in Memphis, Tennessee.
Lahore. The Punjab government on Tuesday proposed increasing Abhiana, water charges, token tax and agriculture to in-20 tax under the Punjab Finance Bill 2026 in order to widen the provincial tax base. The government plans to collect Rs 748.70 billion in taxes, which is 42.69% more than last year's target of 524.70 BN.
Lahore. The Punjab government on Tuesday allocated $750 billion for the education sector 26-27 annual budget, including funds for schools, colleges and universities. The government claimed that the allocation, constituting around 15% of the provincial budget, was aimed at improving quality education and supporting students' infrastructure, supporting across the province, enhancing access to students' province.
Province surrenders 749 to National Exchequer. Social sector gets largest share at 333.666. Infrastructure allocating 17.24. Production sector gets 103s. 25 BN. Transport gets bulk of services funds at 78.54. The Punjab government on Tuesday unveiled a scaled-down R752 billion annual development programme, ADP, for the next fiscal year, down about 40% from last year's 1,240 BN, after surrendering 749 BN to the National Exchequer, with social sectors receiving the largest share of development spending, followed by infrastructure and production-related sectors.
Erling Haaland scored twice in his World Cup debut as Norway powered past Iraq to win 4-1 in their Group I opener in Boston. The Manchester City striker scored his first goals at a major international tournament on Tuesday as Norway returned to the World Cup for the first time in 28 years.
Or New York. Oil prices fell about 5% to a 3-month low on Tuesday, as traders hoped the US and Iran would agree to end the war and allow oil to flow through the Strait of Hormuz. Prices, which were already down about 4 PC Tuesday morning, extended those losses following a Wall Street Journal report that the US would allow Iran to immediately begin selling oil and fuel under the Memorandum of Understanding.
East Rutherford. Kylian Mbappe scored twice as France shook themselves awake after a sleepy first half on Tuesday to beat Senegal 3-1 in New Jersey Stadium for a perfect start to their World Cup campaign. While the Africans had looked the stronger team in the first half of the Group IMAT match, the second period was a different matter, as French class ultimately proved the difference. In a dramatic turn of events, the US and Iran have agreed on a framework for peace talks. While the details of the deal, reached after months of intense back-channel negotiations mediated by Pakistan and supported by other regional countries, have yet to be made public, this development has raised hopes of ending an irrational war that the US has lost. The tentative pact provides a space of 60 days to conclude a comprehensive peace agreement that remains a significant challenge. There's still a long way to go before such an agreement is reached. There has been a noticeable shift in President Donald Trump's previously aggressive tone. However, several complex issues need to be addressed during this period. These include deferred nuclear talks, the future governance of the Strait of Hormuz, the release of frozen Iranian assets, and the lifting of the sanctions on Iran. Meanwhile, Israel's refusal to participate in the process and its ongoing invasion of Lebanon could undermine peace negotiations. Nairobi, Kenya. The death of a 17-year-old schoolboy during protests against a planned US Ebola quarantine facility has transformed a public health project into one of Kenya's most contentious political controversies this year. 3 people have now been killed, a court challenge has halted construction, and the proposed 50-bed centre at Laikipia Air Base in Nanyuki has triggered fierce debate over public participation, sovereignty, and foreign influence. Any doubts about Kylian Mbappe's status as one of the world's greatest footballers were laid to rest when he statistically topped the charts with 2 goals as France beat Senegal 3-1 in their opening game of the World Cup. The 27-year-old became France's record scorer on Tuesday, overtaking Olivier Giroud with 58 goals. In a full-circle moment, Giroud, a commentator at Tuesday's match against Senegal, congratulated Mbappe live on air when he netted again in the 96th minute.
The minority leader of the United States House of Representatives has urged Secretary of State Marco Rubio to allow the mother of Cape Verde goalkeeper Vozinha to enter the country and watch her son play at the World Cup. Ana Candida Evora was unable to travel to watch her son star in a goalless draw with Spain due to the cost of a bond payment for a visa to enter the US. United States officials have confirmed that Iran's team will have to leave the country within hours of the full-time whistle at their World Cup group games in Los Angeles and Seattle. The response from the World Cup 2026 co-host nation came on Tuesday following criticism of its handling of the Iranian team's visa and stay in the US after their first game.
Panel on the Brazilian Supreme Court has voted to convict Eduardo Bolsonaro of lobbying the United States to interfere in the trial of his father, former right-wing President Jair Bolsonaro. On Tuesday, 3 of the 4 justices on the panel voted in favor of conviction, with 1 remaining justice yet to vote. Anthropic is having a month. The AI lab finished May by surpassing OpenAI in market share of business spending for the first time. Ramp just revealed. It raised $65 billion at a $965 billion valuation, also besting OpenAI at the end of May, then waltzed into June by filing confidential paperwork for an IPO, reportedly on the strength of its first ever profitable quarter.
Kylian Mbappe scored twice as France launched their bid for a third World Cup crown with a 3-1 victory over Senegal in Group R. Real Madrid star Mbappe took his career World Cup goals tally to 14, just 2 behind all-time leader Miroslav Klose, and Bradley Barcola was also on target as Les Bleus secured all 3 points for Didier Deschamps' side on Tuesday.
A Canadian court has dismissed an appeal by Ghana midfielder Thomas Partey after he was denied entry into the country for his team's game against Panama at the World Cup. The Canadian government last week refused a visa for Partey, 33, after which his lawyers launched a last-minute appeal to the federal court in Ottawa, but the appeal was lost on Tuesday.